Rebecca Gordon. She is with a buttermilk lipstick. And hello, Rebecca.
Hello.
Okay, so she keeps using this term buckle.
I know, I do.
You may know what that means when it comes to pastries. I don't.
Okay, it is the most simple cake you can make, and the great thing about it is it takes care of all that fresh fruit that you have in your refrigerator as we speak. Blackberries, blueberries, all of that great stuff. And it's a one-layer cake, so it's real simple to prepare. We can make it in a 9-inch or a 10-inch springform pan and cut it into slices, or we can also make it into a real homey, down-home dessert.
Got your cast
for
iron
after
skillet.
supper, right.
Why is it called a buckle?
A buckle, the topping that goes on it, which I'll go ahead and get you started on that topping over there. That, once it's mixed together and put over the top and baked,
all right, what are we doing?
It kind of buckles. And so the fruit kind of comes up from the surface.
Okay.
So I've got a little cornmeal in the bowl.
Mix this up?
Yes, and a little flour. And I'm adding a little sugar to that.
All right.
And if you'll excuse me, I'll grab this. And then if you want, you can go ahead and add your butter in.
Okay.
And we're just going to cut the butter into the flour, the sugar, the cornmeal, and I'm adding a little lemon zest.
Now, did you just, is it softened? Did you need to get this certain temperature?
Well, it's a little soft under these lights, but you do want it to be pretty cold.
You want it to be cold. Okay.
Right. And we're going to mix this together, and you would normally refrigerate this as you're making the batter, so it's nice and cold when it goes on the top.
So this is mixed and put in the fridge.
Right. Put it in the fridge. And then over here, I've already gone ahead and prepared the creaming of the butter and the sugar, and I've added an egg.
Okay.
And so if I could get you to whisk in the leavening, we're using baking powder and baking soda since we're adding a little buttermilk, which is very acidic, as well as some lemon juice. We want to kind of reduce that baking powder amount so there's not a funny flavor. Then we're going to add a little salt to that. And as you see, Janice is using a whisk to whisk that together. That is important to really disperse your leavening so that you have a nice and even baked cake.
Okay, because if you did it with a spoon, it may not be that way, right?
Right. And so we're ready to get this into the mixing bowl over here. And then I'm going to get you, once I get this first little bit in, I'm going to get you to add that buttermilk and lemon juice mixture. Okay. And you can go ahead and add it all at the same time. So this is already mixed?
Yep. Okay.
It's already all mixed together. And then I've just added one portion of flour, and here's the second portion. And you just want to mix this until it's combined. We don't want to overmix or make the cake tough by overmixing.
It's kind of, you're doing a little slower, you're going to speed it up now. Okay, we're going to.
Yeah, we're going to, there we go. And then we're going to.
Wasn't much?
No, it doesn't take much at all. Okay. And then now is when we add our fresh fruit. So as you can see, this is like super duper easy to do. Probably the hardest part.
Makes a fun little mess.
Yeah, probably the hardest part is getting it out of the beater and into the bowl. All right. And then if you'll add all those blueberries.
You want everything in here?
Well, we're going to add the blueberries first.
Okay, now why do you do the blueberries first?
Okay, because they're going to really.
All of them?
Yeah, all of them can go in. It's about 1 1/3 cups. All right. And I like to suspend the blackberries and mix the blueberries into the cake batter. You can really do it a lot of different ways. Okay. But I like to really have that distinctive look once it's baked. You can really see those blackberries. Okay. And this goes into your well-greased cast iron skillet or a springform pan. If you'll come visit me at buttermilklipstick.com, I've got the information on how to use a springform pan if you want to do it that way as well. And then you'll just spread this to the edges, and we'll suspend those blackberries into the top, and then we're going to put that chilled buckle mixture, the streusel mixture, over the top of that. And really, that's kind of the crowning jewel of this cake. I think anybody that takes a little extra time to make a streusel to go over a muffin or a coffee cake, that's kind of like, you know, that little extra that goes a long way.
Okay, so I see you just take and put your blackberries where you want them.
Correct.
To evenly.
Right, exactly. And that goes in like so.
Okay.
And then we'll bake this at 350 degrees for about 55 minutes in either pan. And then you get this beautiful cake over here. Or if you want to just pop this in the oven to have after supper, you can serve it warm, spoon it out, put a little ice cream over it. It's real simple to do.
Now, does it make it any different cooking it that or cooking it in the other pan?
No, the bake time is the same, 55 to 60 minutes.
She just likes her cast iron skillet.
I love it. We were talking about, I think the last time I used it, I had a little mac and cheese in there. So really, it is such a versatile, everybody needs a cast iron skillet.
It is. All right, so again, in the oven at what temperature?
At 350 degrees for 55 to 60 minutes. Right. And you want to test that with a wooden pick and make sure that center is coming out clean. Okay. And then we'll cool it in the pan for about 10 minutes and serve, or you can cool it completely. beautiful slices cut out of your cast iron skillet as well. It comes right out of the pan.
Okay.
No problem.
And this was what was poured over that.
Right, that's what was poured over
and
that.
then you've been looking at this on TV now. This is what it looks like when it comes out.
Yes.
Looks fabulous.
Well, thank you.
Get
Come
all that
see me at
fruit.
buttermilklipstick.com for lots of tips and tricks and all kinds of fun recipes.
All right, you can check her out then at, did you set her website, buttermilklipstick.com, and we will have the recipe too at myfoxal.com if you'd like to watch this again later and see how she put this together. Or you can write us here at the station, P.O. Box 6 Birmingham 35201, and you can get the recipe for the, what you call it?
Black and blue buttermilk buckle.
Buttermilk buckle. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thanks, guys.